Well, do you wanna? Well, do you wanna go? Up to $220 yesterday on the GME prices. Welcome back to the Rocky Outcrop show. My name, of course, is Rocky Outcrop. Thanks for joining me. Good morning to all of y'all in the United States of America. 9 a.m. for you over there. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. And good afternoon to everybody in the UK and Europe. And if you're still up in the Southern Hemisphere, then whoa, thanks for joining us. That's quality. Good stuff. Good morning to you all. And thanks very much to Homer Simpson, who has just become an early supporter, a member of the channel, and Katie Babes, who has become an early supporter plus. Woo, that's an upgrade on the membership over there. Thanks so much for that. And welcome to the show. The poll results are going to be with us soon. We're trying to figure out who should be the next guest on the show. Of course, this is a highly contested topic amongst all A-listers out there, and we have 4 of them in the world of finance. Up there we have, of course, CZ, the man who set up Binance. Should we let him come on the show? His representatives are ringing my phone off the hook, asking all the time. Then you've got Vitalik Buterin, the guy that set up Ethereum as well. He also wants to be on the show. He wants to come on and talk to you all about Ethereum and all that sort of stuff. And I'm saying to him all the time, Vitalik, man, come on. You're going to have to come up with some interesting topics of conversation. Everybody knows about Ethereum already, bro. And then we've got Gary Gensler, the so-called expert on cryptocurrency, who is now chairperson of the SEC. That's right, chairperson of America. It's about time that you updated your vernacular or to include chairperson as a word as opposed to chairman. And then there's Kim Kardashian, who of course we all know is the real chairman of the board, the most successful woman in finance, I suppose, that I could think of off the top of my head quickly. And there we have it. That's the poll results, all of whom are ringing my phone off the hook, and we will get one of them on board one of these days when we have the time. D Harker dropping 449 in there with the rocket dinosaur. Rocket dinosaur, rocket dinosaur, rocket dinosaur, rocket dinosaur. That is, of course, secret code for way, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks so much, D. Really appreciated. Message heard loud and clear. And here we have the charts up behind me at the minute. So I'm going to introduce them to y'all and show you what's up. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about some news at the top of the hour. So we'll get back around to talk about that at 10 a.m. once the markets have been open for half an hour. We'll also be checking out cryptocurrencies before the markets open up in the United States of the Americas. And we'll be doing all of that, right? So lots of good stuff coming up in the show right here, right now, 4 after the hour. Perfect time to roll those intro clips and get on with the show. Before we do, though, good to see you, Hutch, D. Harker, Kashito Valador, John G, John Cans, Observe Thyself, nice to see you, Sasha, Michael Jordan, KT Alcharka, we've got the likes of, no doubt, Apple Blossom and stuff like that out there in the audience as well. All the regulars, Michael Jordan, Just Ducky, Bad Mama Jama, all you good people, good to see you. It's welcome back. And we're back within the charts. Hold your breath now. Rocky just did a fart. I didn't really, but it rhymes, right? Here we have the poll results then. If you didn't vote, then you've missed out because I'm hitting the end poll button. And what are the results then? Who do people really want on the show? Who do you want on the show? What do you want? Who do you want? Come on, YouTube, tell me the results properly in a message. Yes! All right, Gary Gensler with 59%, Kim Kardashian coming in with 22%, Vitalik Buterin with 14%, CZ with 3%. You just want a white guy in a suit on the show. What he is like morning time in America. I guess you've not drunk your coffee yet. We'll have to ask that question later on. You just wake up in the morning, the first thing you think about is a white guy in a suit. That's what you want. That's what you want. Nobody wants Kim Kardashian on the show. People, please. Right. Anyway, Rocky Outcrop, please. If you have Binance reps on, call them out. Their leverage tokens. Yeah. Okay, you mean, yeah. Me and the Binance reps, we be talking about the leverage tokens all the time over here, yo. I'm like, man, be good to the people. Don't screw with the peoples. They listen to me. They pay attention to everything I say. So here we are in the chats, just getting yourself comfortable. Are you comfortable? I'm comfortable. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. And that begins with a like button. Thanks so much for hitting that like button. It helps YouTube know that this is, of course, the best place on the internet to be spending your morning. And what a morning it is this Wednesday, the 25th of August 2021. That's right. I had to actually think my way through that, make sure I wasn't saying anything wrong. So, and the prices of GME, look at this, look at this, look at the way that this went down. That's the 24-hour time frame there. Let me just kind of click on down a wee bit. You can see that there was a couple of solid candles throughout the day yesterday. The price is kicking down at the start of the day to fill in that gap at 165.15, which we spoke about, saying, hey, wouldn't that be nice if that was the low price of the day? We were highlighting key aspects for the prices for where they would close at, and this is going to form a key part of the story as we discuss it today as well, of course, obviously. People, I'm looking over to the left there. You can see that the prices actually. Let me just get it sort of weatherman style again for us. Up to whatever actually. You can see that there is this price point in it around about the $194 zone. So let's just call it 195. So it's an easy enough number for us to be able to discuss. And look over to the left and see how that 195 area interacts with the prices. Let's see, it's around about here. So there was of course some resistance just here as well with those. Oh, and that was where the prices came back down to after that blow off top over there as well. So it's a key inflection point in the market, that one that's very, 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 very good to be above, and probably one that's worth taking a note of. Wonder what sort of drawings we have up behind me just here. Okay, so we're not too busy with that. I think horizontal line in it around about that 195 price point. So we're going to be super positive, of course, right? We're kicking about here in the above $200 region. We're super bullish on this thing. I mean, it started to have really positive price action, and we were really bullish on it throughout a downward period of price action. So anybody unfamiliar with, how we overall feel as part of this community with regards to this particular stock, it is obviously with a bullish mentality. Right, but, here we have some actual positive price action, so we're still going to remain bullish on it, okay? That kind of goes without saying, but I said it anyway. But we are, of course, wondering along the way what sort of organic price action that we will actually see. And if we're going to actually see as well some more rocketing price action today, would that actually happen? Could that actually happen? These are the sorts of things that we'll be discussing shortly as we move on over to look at the other big old so-called meme stock out there. Now, this is a show which is about a lot more than just these two stocks. Obviously, as we go on soon to talk about cryptocurrency, and let me know in the chat what it is that you yourself are trading, because I do want to know, as I see the likes of Space Banana, and Martin Ewing and stuff like that in the chat there. So let me know what you're trading as well, and we will be taking a look at those sorts of things. We're actually about facilitating here learning and growth, and of course your financial independence through becoming a self-reliant, resilient trader. Daniel Assange dropping $5 in the chat there, much appreciated. So we have this horizontal dotted line on the charts. We drew reference to this yesterday, and we talked about that zone as well in between. Of course, this is an area where the prices actually managed to shoot right up towards the top of, but not fully close above quite yet, as I just little by little remove that from the chart. So you'll remember what we were talking about yesterday. Hopefully you were paying attention, and that'll save me a wee bit of hassle when it comes to sort of explaining this. But here we have it, and we're just up above that $43 price point right now, and that's really, 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 really excellent to see. If we're looking back down the way and kind of considering where we could be looking at, and we see $5 coming in from Bad Mama Jama to take a look at these two other stocks, and there's a couple of examples, so we'll be doing just that in a moment. They are suggestions of AHT, that is Ashford Hospitality Trust, and the MMAT stock, that is of course Meta Materials. We'll take a look at those. You can see that a few people do like those suggestions, and yeah, so we can see that if we were to be pulling back down here, there's a few key levels that we obviously want to stay above in terms of like sort of the lower down pivot points. Obviously, having pushed up lows, not done any sort of divergences then so far as a result in this tentative upward trend, with a low here which was at this point already a higher low on the 4-hour time frame. We discussed this in good detail at the time with regards to how this was a lower low on the 1-hour time frame with a big dose of bullish divergence at those lows. We explained it all perfectly, and we actually then of course have done the move up to this point so far, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Now we have to be aware of the fact that while we've had a big move of volume and everything else, that there is of course the potential for people to be taking profits, and at the meantime we can see that there's already been profit taken from $48 back down to the current price point around about $44, and that is of course a 10% drop in the prices, and that's a significant degree of profit taken. So are we asking the questions, for instance, on this one today, of have we seen enough with that? Like we're asking, I suppose, with that, what would it be, maybe 2.5 to 5% drop in the GME prices following on from their peak yesterday. Okay, right, and that brings us through to 13 minutes or so after the hour, and we can jump on over to take a look briefly then at these suggestions that have come in from the chat. AHT performing very strongly, looking to try and put in this lower low, this bottoming formation, having put in lower lows on the way down here, which as well were very much bullishly divergent. Here's the 1-hour time frame, dropped in $690 from Homer Simpson. Thanks so much to you, my friend. Mainstream media calls them meme stocks because they canny spell idiosyncratic risks. That's right, actually. Good one, nice one. Love the way you wrote canny in there, by the way, pal. Excellent. Right, so trend line here, bringing that in from that low on the RSI up to the all following along with all these recent lows, looking at that series of lows on the price action, seeing that there's that lack of correlation there, looking at this key pivot price in the markets, and thinking about whether or not this was enough time that had been spent close below that region, zooming on in and looking at how the prices then just kind of pushed back up there, having tested them just once and then found that they were actually supported above that region, and have continued on up towards the top end of what was a wedge that we were looking at the time. And a descending wedge like this, of course, is a statistically bullish pattern, and maybe this could be in the point of which it's attempting to proceed with a breakout. The movements on this one, all of which are big percentage differences in price. You can see here, if we pop it onto just the regular linear chart, that wedge looks a little bit more wedgy, just a little bit perhaps than whenever it's on the logarithmic chart, but it's what we're looking at there. In terms of the movements outside of this zone are pretty exciting, having had highs yesterday in there at $15 and establishing ourselves perhaps above that most recent gap there with a good degree of support. Now perhaps below us at that $13 price point. Hopefully Rob is there eagerly anticipating that, of course, being the CEO of Ashford Hospitality Trust, being back again in the green long term on his own 7,500 share purchase that happened on August the 16th over here. So that's pretty good news for everybody involved, and we can hopefully then as well remain above that pivot point, if you will. you're with us, Rob, on that one, hopefully. So then we also had MMAT, and over here on this stock, we will see is kind of the bit of the prediction that I've written in here, and I do want to be held accountable to this. 337 again. So what exactly happened when we wrote that in, and how did this go down? Well, it's to do with the DMI indicator. That's of course the Rocky DMI, me being Rocky, hiya, and it was on the higher time frames. You can see here, for instance, in at 24-hour time frame, though we're still within this grey volatility territory. So I'm actually wondering, as we develop this new and fantastic tool to be used in the markets, how this will evolve, and where we are at the minute in terms of looking at this right now is saying what's going to happen with this candle here, which is the first candle which opened outside of that volatility territory, and will we therefore see the prices come back down to that as part of this new tool that we're developing uniquely here on the channel, as part of a community here, to actually be able to predict the future to the penny, more or less, with price moves. Now, of course, this seems a little bit kind of crazy, but that's what's going on, and that's what we're keeping an eye out for. And it's nice as well to be doing this live with an example where we can see that there is, in fact, a different setup with the daily time frame. So a little bit of a need to kind of explore this one across time and remain accountable, of course, as well. Now, we know that this thing has a fantastic hit rate already in the markets. I mean, we can see this example over here from when it happened last time. Well, actually, no, that got cleared out pretty quickly. But anyway, we talk about this from time to time on the show. This is something which is a component of that indicator, which I give to people for free. That's right, for free, of course. This is what you're tuning into today, ladies and gentlemen. That's why people drop the like button on this show, because of the extreme amounts of value here for everybody. So if you could do that too, that would be really good. Helps YouTube know that that value exists. And that's why, of course, people choose to subscribe and keep on coming back. And Brian Mullen is one of those people who's just talking about that right there, as he drops in $100 as a super chat saying, best value for tuition payment that I've ever gotten. Wow, how amazing is that? Many thanks to you, Brian. It's absolutely appreciated. High Card Jesus is asking me right here, right now. I think a critical chart to look at right now is total crypto market cap, forming a head and shoulders and possibly falling below the 2 trillion will be bad. Good discussion point. That's absolutely correct, and it brings us in a nice segue on over to the cryptocurrency markets. In fact, I could even maybe record this as an overall clip. So if I put my background back on here, go into the space scene, put my background back on, there we are, full screen, then I can actually maybe even record this here and put it out on YouTube. See, so let's see if we can keep this going without stopping anything in terms of the flow. Actually, no, that's a bad idea. We've got 2 minutes here. I'll just take 2 minutes, give everybody a chance to have a drink, go for a wee, whatever else, and I'll be able to read a couple of messages in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Like, subscribed, and subscribe and share, says Sasha in the chat. Thanks for that. Martin Ewan, I have only one stock, and tiny. I'm investing in a seriously whimsical last chapter. My overall health is such I could adopt a puppy and race it to the grave. Great Dane, 5 years. Lab equals 12. Well, there we have it. Bit of the old sort of mortal coil chat there from Martin Ewan, man. I get it. That's a fresh dose of human realism for us all there, and it's true. That is a sense kind of how a lot of us even lead our lives when we've got many more decades left on the clock. So it's nice to be mindful. It's always a good idea as well. I recommend to people to live a life like it was using the sort of Schopenhauer's telescope technique. Try and put yourself in that situation that's just been described there, and think back about how you would like to be living your life right now. That's a nice way of being mindful and thinking about yourself and being compassionate towards yourself as well. Evan A says, thanks for this, Rocky Outcrop. We got in at 2.9 from last week, killing it as always. Nice one. Metaphorically kicking its ass. Ms. A said, had a convo with my mum yesterday who's asking me to make her a YouTube account so she can subscribe and pay Rocky. That's so nice. That's so quality, Ms. A. Just tell her to make a Patreon account though. Hey. Martin Ewan following up there. Oh, I'm fine. Waiting for death is what medication is after all. Isn't it? Meditation is what life is, my friend. Of course, that's why I referenced that phrase, mortal coil. I'm right there with you. Of course, everybody here is. We're all human beings after all, brother. Right, so we are going to be taking a look at cryptocurrencies right here, right now, and it's 20 past the hour. Everything flowing along nicely in today's show. The markets will open up in 10 minutes, so I'm going to hit the record button and introduce this like it's a clip, and the reason for that is because I'll publish this separately for people who are not watching this right here, right now. The little sort of subtle mention, of course, to all of our friends in cryptocurrency world that they might want to take a look at these stocks by leaving the tip jar here with them in it is, of course, a nice little laugh for us all. And I'll be coming around to talk about the total market cap during this section because I think it is important, just like the commenter said so. Hello friends, my name is Rocky Outcrop. This is a cryptocurrency technical analysis video, and thanks so much for joining me. We're going to take a look at the total market cap here for cryptocurrency and do a bit of TA on Bitcoin and some of the big names in the alts. What's happening over there in the total market cap? Could there be a head and shoulders, and will we see prices overall dropping down below 2 trillion? Could this maybe be some forewarnings or foreshadowings of an alt season? Is there positive news to be had? And do we need to think back to the statistics on head and shoulders and rely on it being 60% likely that the thing doesn't even work in the first place? All that and more coming up right here, right now. Hit that like button. Thanks so much for joining me. So, welcome back to the charts, and this is one of the stocks that we look at during the live show. It's just something that we do here. Join us for a live show sometime. It would be cool to look at the sort of the wider markets with you. We're a community of traders. Now, there's nothing better for trading than things like Bitcoin, and currently we're looking at Bitcoin having come back down towards the lower end of this wedge, which was somewhat predictable, having dropped in towards that $47,000 number, actually with lows down there all the way down towards the lower side of it. Are we looking now and asking, can we go on up the way a little bit more? We do have to be aware, of course, of the divergences which are there on the RSI, which could signal to us that perhaps we've got a little bit further to go. 47,000, relying on the prior highs as being the support area and the lower part of this wedge. But realistically, we could also be looking down towards that 45,500 area for where we could be seeing the prices going overall next. If we do get bearish continuation and looking for maybe perhaps a higher low, which is maybe a bit more visible on a larger time frame, bearing in mind what this looks like currently, therefore on the 24-hour time frame, a little bit of an inflection just here. Is it enough? If we go on, it would be a bit more extended, and you'd be absolutely looking at having to have some sort of break one way or the other and express one of the larger ranges in the past, which is of course what corresponds to typical pattern analysis. Over here, therefore, then on the total chart, like we talked about at the start of the show, could we be seeing something form up that could become a head and shoulders? Well, just currently looking at this on the 24-hour time frame, to follow up with the question that came in from chat, I would say that there's the potential for this left-hand shoulder here area like that, but it's very much premature to be saying that as it stands right now. Looking at then on the bigger picture, right here, it's a bit sloppy across the broad scheme of things to call that head and shoulders as well. But, you know, there are other things happening here, and we know this from having looked at the other charts. Things that are kind of notable, that kind of do draw our eyes and attention to ideas of alt seasons and the value that exists within the total market cap. When we know that Bitcoin, which has dominated this thing in one way or another, I mean, even its current percentage right now in terms of the Bitcoin dominance is 44%, having dropped down a significant amount over the last course of time, over the last couple of months, few months, and during this period of time when it was dominating, this is where the markets put in a period of consolidation. We know that was also the case with Bitcoin's own price. We came up to these highs, and of course, in this period of time, we saw a little bit of a change of circumstances with the Bitcoin dominance dropping so very much. Now, overall, during this period of time, we didn't actually see the prices coming back down and challenging in at that knot in the terms of the price action in the same way that we actually did when we were looking over here at the Bitcoin chart itself. You can see that we've actually come all the way back down to where that was consolidating, putting in mind that idea of a sort of discorrelation perhaps between that $2 trillion area and what necessarily composes the value within it, which does make us think about, if we're able to maintain that, how do we see other things operating in the markets? And therefore perhaps it's maybe time to take a look at what we've been looking at recently with this consolidation that's going along here at the tops with the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, and asking at this stage perhaps whether or not these highs, if they're not broken, would bring our eyes and our attention back down to the prior lows and put in a descending triangle state of mind in the market. And then you'd be looking back down towards the 56 area, 0.056 on that exchange rate. Now, what's not that big a difference between where we are now at the 65 area, to get up towards the breaking areas above where we were before. We've actually arrived at a target. This was an area previously that we'd identified that we could be coming up to, but we need to actually break that and get follow through. So we're looking for higher highs, higher lows, and trending price action as opposed to consolidation. And in the meantime, this will summarize enough for us the dynamic between the sort of mama and papa coins within the market. As I see that I'm about 6 minutes or so, or 5 minutes or so into this episode, I just want to remind you that at this point, hitting the like button is really valued. I'm trying to put out a bit of value and explain things across the broader market for you, and I hope that that's reflected back with a like. Here's trade spotting.
That was incredible.
I'm not finished yet. I'm about to go on and do the. Thanks very much.
Incredible.
I'm about to go on.
Incredible work.
Thanks, man. I'm about to go on and do the Chainlink Tezos technical analysis as well. And we're going to take a look, just as we transition towards those dollar pairings of those coins, at what the Ethereum USDT pairing is looking like, stacking up right now in around about 3,150. Also consolidating here in the 24-hour time frame in around about this region. Now, this region is marked out by those horizontals is obviously something that we've identified in the past as being important. I'll just draw in a quick example for why that is the case right now here with this Fibonacci retracement. Down at the lower end where we're finding the buying pressure coming in at, that's around about where we find the golden pocket at, and it's saying that we're kind of being supported above that region where there was, of course, an anticipated reflection or inflection perhaps potential in the markets at that area. And then, of course, as well, where we've been looking up to recently is around about that 786 towards the mid 3k area, and being able to challenge to go on higher with those deeper retraces and perhaps go up even higher again. In terms of the overall trend, should we continue up the way with this one, then we are looking up as high as $8,000, which is not a 300% increase, but a 250% increase or 250% increase is nothing to be sniffed at. And it would be quite nice if that were the case from here, but it's a bit early days to anticipate it. And why would you be talking like that, Rocky? Well, let's just quite easy to see. If you jump on down to the 1 hour time frame, hit the auto button, and see that we were hoping to have had a wedge support the prices at that period in time. Of course, we've dropped just a little bit below that. We're struggling to get back above where we had the prices at before. At the 3,200 level, we could easily be looking at this inflection point here in the market, and at around about 3,200 is being resistance right now. So it's kind of like a sort of hold your horses scenario for just now, but there's plenty of support down below. If we do actually drop down the way, then we are looking down for the full perhaps move off the back of this thing, and we can just measure that out right now to get an idea, if we're talking about risk aspect of things, where this could of course lead to. And it's no surprise that that lines up perfectly with this other horizontal down there at $2,890 or $2,900 for a nice round number, and that takes you back around to, of course, where we had those prior lows at the inflection when we first came back up to revisit the 3,200 resistance point, which is the current one that we're operating at right now. It's an expression of that range range. It's where markets will typically operate. And looking over towards their two favorite altcoins, just to give a put our fingers on the pulse of where the markets could be heading. You're talking about Chainlink over here, which is a really great coin for access and interoperability between price definition across different chains in the cryptocurrency markets. And we're at $26 right now here on this one, looking towards trying to move back up towards the 27 area, where we have the midpoint of this parallel channel. It's in the prices, and it's defining the range of the prices right now. Now, unfortunately, of course, we're kind of putting in what could be conceivably a bit of a bear flag in this territory, looking perhaps to go back down and retest these prior lows. But at the minute, it's actually looking like it could be okay. If I just bring up the oscillators and kind of check in with them, we had previously hidden bullish divergence potential on a larger time frame in and around about this zone. The 1 hour time frame showing that we're below that prior low, and you could be making the case for this being a low with a high and then a lower low, and it's the start of a trend, and that's simply convergence on that front. But actually, you know, what we're looking at here is the lows, the highs, the higher lows, and kind of somewhere along the way, you know, we're kind of trying to say, have we got anything like that to give us a boost? And if we jump up towards the 24-hour time frame and take a look at our lows here, therefore, you can see that there was these lows, this low and this higher low, and at this point here, we can see that there's actually a lower low on the RSI, giving us a bit of that hidden bullish divergence just in here, where we could potentially find inflection in it around about having come back to that buy price, which I had actually identified $8 higher up here, $5 higher up at the $30 price point when we came back down to $25 there in today's price action itself. So stinky linky, looking very stinky right now, having actually given people that low risk buy entry price for people. Now, that was one of the very many trades, of course, that I put out on the channel, and implicitly and actually very explicitly within the chat that I put out there. Just be very aware that I'm not actually a financial advisor. When I talk about this, I'm talking about my own activities in the market. And right now as well, then of course, I would also be bearing in mind that that's how I would be managing my risk if I was looking down towards expressing a move within this larger parallel channel that we're trying to identify. That's just really just 3 horizontal levels of support and resistance in the grand scheme of things. And over here on Tezos, where we're looking at the prices currently in there at 444, I see that the markets have opened up, and I'll flick back over to talking about them as I close out this little clip, and we can see that we're in there at 444 yet again as well. So that's that key pivot area. It's very good to see. That's a 1618 Fibonacci retracement point. I am, of course, looking for continuation and bullishness in this lovely dark horse within the cryptocurrency markets, but haven't already expressed like a near enough 100% rise up from the lows in the markets. In fact, it's more than 100% really, when I'm honest about it. Having talked about this one down there at that $2 area and having come up here so far, it's content to be able to have a pullback to these regions and think about things in a 24-hour time frame about whether or not this is enough. However, we're in here at the minute and we're putting in what is actually a bullishly engulfing candle, encapsulating the entire price action from yesterday's trading range. It would be nice to rebase up here at one of those higher intermediate targets that we've actually identified recently when looking at the charts, seeing if we did actually pull back from this region where we're at right now. It'd be bearish divergence here on the 1 hour time frame, and we might actually challenge those lows, not below 3, not actually even, you know, necessarily even find a support at 390. We could be looking at lows that take us back down towards one of the mid $3 range areas if we actually do crack that. So we'd have to look out for how we establish ourselves here. But if we do get continuation, which is what we want to see, then we can burn this off over time. We really are just looking between our past high just here in terms of the 1 hour and saying that just in this little zone we're doing okay. So finding support at $4 even now would be nice, and that's another 10% discount. So do be aware that you could potentially get that and still see continuation towards the top side. But that's just looking in the detail of things. Really, you know, that's enough in terms of what we're talking about with these coins really overall. But if you were looking just wanting to get a move towards the top side and take out that prior target, you could just say, for example, in terms of like simple easiness thing, to look up towards 480, and then your next target afterwards would be 515. We have other targets identified up above as well. We know from our prior highs is coming in there around about that $7.50 to $8 region. That's where that 2618 is, and it's highly anticipated in a longer term bullish market, especially if we do see that concept of the alt season kicking in, and that may be something to look forward to. So I'm just going to end up the show here and go back to talking about the markets which have opened, and we talk about stocks such as, and this is just for people who are interested in crypto, GME, seeing that right now the prices on this thing operating in there at $202, $200 or so, having recently been down there at lows of 145. Price action issues like fully explained along the way, and of course a big opportunity for people who are interested in other markets to talk about stocks. There of course is the volatility in here if you're a cryptocurrency trader, and this is one that people are talk about with regards to diamond handing as well. So a lot of you out there watching the cryptocurrency stuff are interested in hodling and that, and there's a good strong mentality with a few different stocks at the minute that actually correlates very well with how you might experience some segments of your cryptocurrency wallets. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Rocky Outcrop. I genuinely do appreciate you coming up here into the stratosphere with me. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again in another episode soon. Boom. Boom. Drop the mic. All right, so back to the charts. That's the value they get on this show, by the way, is of course extreme. What do you think? Right, what do you think? Oh, okay, so I'll make it a poll, right? Do I make it a poll? I don't know how you do polls with a sort of open-ended question. What do you think it was worth, everybody? What do you think? What do you think that was worth? I'll write it in the chat as well. What do you think that was worth as a video, and what do you think? What do you think? What do you think of that? What's that? What's the general opinion from that sort of thing? Okay, yeah, a debrief. So what happened there is somebody asked a question talking about the total market cap in the chat, and I thought it was a fairly interesting topic for discussion, and I thought that there's probably a fairly slim chance of it having a proper head and shoulders to actually show up there that could be analysed. And and thanks so much, Wolfric. We have to chat about other monies though, you and I. We thought that somebody asked a question about the thing, and I thought, well, hey, the market cap there for all cryptocurrencies might not see that head and shoulders, but there's definitely a good segue into what else we could be talking about with regards to the dynamics in the market, and it's a really good touchstone to go to kind of sort of get that broader context and figure it out. And then what we then of course identified during that process was the current Bitcoin price action with the risk management targets that you need to identify and the broader macro picture. We also compared that to the total market cap and looked at the key pivot points along the way towards the top side and how that interacted with each other, with of course Bitcoin operating somewhere between a sort of 50 to 60% domination of the markets until more recently where it dropped down to the sub 50 area, going down towards 40. We also interacted then with regards to then how the Ethereum Bitcoin prices are looking together to kind of segue towards that Ethereum, towards the altcoin section, by looking at the two biggest players in the overall cryptocurrency markets to see how one's performed against the other. And there is a consolidation that's happening right now, but as we've seen it, after having had a nice rise up the way, which forms part of that dynamic within the total value of the overall cryptocurrency markets, with regards to, of course, as well, Bitcoin's dominance within that, which has dropped down to that 44 and 40% area. And we've been analysing recently whether or not we could see that drop down to 43. And even as well, as part of the conversation we've had over the course recently is whether or not Bitcoin can continue to accrue value, and perhaps these other ones accrue value somewhat quicker, and then that inflects on your dynamics when you're trading. So we did that, and then we of course looked at the Ethereum versus the dollar pricing to just kind of get a handle on where that could be right now. A little bit of resistance up above, and it's identified from where we actually rose up to come here in the first place before we then put in those highs. And then there's a pattern on that chart with a measured move that takes us down to an area which is where we've identified in the past as being support, and we're pushing outside of this pattern. The one thing I didn't really properly draw in that Ethereum section today was the fake out territory, which is so common and typical on the sort of shows that I put out, but is a little bit unusual for people to see because it's basically me that's the only one that does that anywhere. So I just left that out, but it's implicit and everybody understands that anyway. That's been educated by me, I think, probably by this stage already. And then we then moved on to taking a look at Chainlink with regards to, of course, where it's been and how our recent price analysis has been with regards to it. And of course, people that have been watching along, and if there's people out there that are can want to, of course, verify for others who don't know in the chat, you totally can talk amongst yourself. I did say at $30. Oh shit, no, the video wasn't working. Anyway, I told everybody about it. $30 down to 25, whatever. And then as well, the Tezos thing kind of just rounding out there and talking about the positivity in the markets and how and looking at the candlestick analysis of the bullish engulfing candle we're experiencing on the 24-hour time frame with regards to whether or not that would constitute consolidating in this area, what the risks would be if we drop down below the what was obviously the prior low on the 1 hour time frame, which is implicit in which is that's also where that low of that currently engulfing candle is, and they would turn that into a very different looking candle on the broader term time frame. So it's all implicit in terms of how you would manage your risk and talking about how that would be your cutoff, and it's giving you a different why for it, because of course if you were to then go back up and look at the bigger time frame, the prior story would no longer actually exist anymore. So I don't need to say it's changed, that's implicit, and that's all part of handing off to you the baton of like understanding and education on everything that we do, so that you've got of course your own responsibility in terms of your decision making, and you grow as a trader. And that's what I do. That was it. Thank you, Rocky, says Carissa. Thank you so much for that $4.99. That's really, really appreciated. Katie Babes there with $4.99 as well. So helpful. Thank you. Truly grateful. You helped me feel comfortable diving into the crypto space. That's totally, you're welcome. That's great. And Wilfred Dimslayer, well done. Was that so hard? Well, was that question to me, Wolfie, or was that to the rest of the audience? Was it so hard? Just to review in brief, by the way, where we are. Oh, by the way, I do think I threw out these ideas at the start of the show as to how we could maybe be operating at the start of the today. It's no big deal. We're all above that $200 area. Pretty good over there on GME. On AMC, by the way, currently we're sat there at 46. Wow, great, fantastic. Pushing on up the way. Nice to see it above this key pivot point for us. We can check in here actually just in a couple of minutes with how that's going. And I'll double the charts up. Aye, good idea. Double the charts up. Diddle-a-ding. Another bit. Oh, wait, no, actually. I've not got the charts open for folk. Ha! Burp. Pardon me. Time to roll the intros. Yeah, so now I'll double the charts up. And yeah, here's the charts. AMC on the left, Link on the right. That's not what we're actually looking for right now. I'm going to pop GME on the left. I'm going to pop AMC on the right. I'm going to hit the auto button on both of these things. Actually bring this down. 5-minute time frame. Yeah, fine. 5-minute time frame. Auto button. Zoom on in a bit. Hide that panel on the right. Zoom on in a bit. Cool. So far today, we've just been in this region just there. That's cool. Over here is thing. By the way, shout out to everybody who knows what that reference was at the start of the show there, which if you were watching from the start, I was singing a song. It was Franz Ferdinand. It was Do You Wanna? And it is the song that I sang after we made it through the cathartic part there in the times when the prices were 145, and I put on Lewis Capaldi. I gave everybody a sort of an emotional vent and cathartic release because of course everybody was extremely frustrated with the price action for GME at the time. So we did that together, and it was a wonderful thing to do. And then we banged on a bit of Franz Ferdinand and said, "Do you wanna go where I've never let you before?" Talking about 150 as the price point that we'd never let it go before at the time, kind of tongue in cheek and having a laugh and saying, "Hey, it's positive times. It's good to be doing what we're doing, and looking forward to the impending green price action and all-time highs that are going to be coming in the future." Of course, aye. So, hey, that's what happened, by the way. Just so that you remember, it's a wee bit, I don't want to be the guy that articulates my own history, so I'll hopefully give enough examples of that to people that people can start articulating what's going on here. It's brilliant stuff. Right, and that's those charts. Right, so what were we coming back around to talk about? I actually had something in mind. Yes, indeed. We'll talk about, you can come back and visit this stuff in a minute again here in a second or two, but I want to open up the YouTube and go on over to yesterday's video just so we can see the number of the comments. And by the way, thanks to everybody for watching there, that's watching right now, hitting like, all that good stuff, by the way, really appreciated. So where's yesterday's last video? It's this one here. Excellent stuff. 978 views. You know, it's that's cool. It wasn't a massive amount of views on that video, and that's what kind of makes this China thing kind of remarkable. Thank you so much to 296 people who hit the like button. I'll be 297 on that. Thank you very, 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 very much. That's amazing that 1/3 of the people that watched chose to hit the like button. It'd be quality if we could get that number to be higher. I'm inclined to feel like it's my that I need to improve to do that, but I think at the end of the day we all know that it's just a case of the audience hitting the like button, and that's good. So it's kind of like whatever. And then and that this bit here, 317 comments, amazing stuff. Now Wilfric Doomslayer put out a bet yesterday, so a lot of people came in here and they said they'll do 49.99 donation, and that might have been the donation that came in earlier on when he said, "Well done, was that so hard?" And I wonder if he's talking about the comments. But then he came along and he said, "I'll double it if we get 100 individual comments." And I think we probably did manage that in the end, and I'm totally blown away by it. This is a record for the channel for sure, for me for sure, a massive record. The most comments that's ever been on there. I tried to respond to as many as I could. It was taking a lot of time to do so. So I tried. I've missed a couple along the way here. Like, there we go. Thanks so much for that, R.A. Woodman. Shout out to you on the show here. Jay, you get a shout out as well. Another comment that I missed at the time. Thanks as well for that, buddy. So and there'll be a couple more, I'm sure, in there that are like that. We've got one from Katie Babes here. So that's funny. You got tricked into watching it again. We've got one here from Martin Ewan here. Let's just read it. Let's read this one here. He's a legend, says Tradespot in the background. Martin says, I am a violently enthusiastic taxidermist who works with rare and endangered species, as well as creating bespoke creatures from various spare parts and leftovers. I have, for example, a polar bear with 7 marmoset heads and a half goat, half motorbike. That's cool. Today, whilst stuffing a rare lowland bongo, Traglaphus Eurasius, surrounded by my resplendent menagerie of mute vestiges of lives well lived, as the dense dulcet tones of Mr. Outcrop crooned comfortably away in the background, I was astonished to note that the vast majority of my stuff collection had somehow swiveled their heads towards the laptop on the bench as if to peer. It appeared adoringly towards the Scottish rendering within. Imagine my surprise. Doubly so, since this was mid-morning and I never take mescaline before noon. It's a rule. I am not embarrassed to admit I am still quite confused. I experimented, as both Kern brothers are also apt to do, with arbitrarily cutting off the volume of the podcast, and in fact, I noted that while the initial movements had ceased and my creatures were now simply keenly transfixed towards the new source of their seemingly collective fascination, miraculously, it could be observed that while still a certain light in their eyes would wax and wane in response to the volume being available and then withdrawn. I surmise and suspect this has something to do with charisma, and I'm devising whether intricate ploy I can wherein I may entice Rocky Outcrop surreptitiously to closet to the closest or largest mausoleum in Edinburgh to chat loudly with me so I may further my thesis that he is uncommonly regenerative. I stumbled somewhat reading the bits which were complimentary towards myself there at the end. Thanks so much. It is altogether quite confusing, and as Irving Welsh himself once said, that seems a bit fucked up like man, Ken. That's getting pinned. Excellent stuff. Thanks so much. Well, how diversionary was that? Unexpected delights coming in there from Martin Ewan. Thanks so much. Really appreciated. How about that, everybody? Give him a round of applause in the chat there. That was highly entertaining. That's what? That's worth a book deal right there. That's worth a book deal. That is. Wow. Wilfric Doomslayer, double down fulfilled. There we have it. 49.99. Thank you very kindly, my friend. That's really kind. That's really kind. What? I needed 600. Yeah, Jimmy's reporting here that he needed 600 on his video. Let's see what he got. There's still time. There's still time, and I'm yet to take part myself with it. So hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Wait a minute, it's that one just there, isn't it? So we'll keep that there from interrupting. I hit the like button. Have you hit the like button? I hit the like button. Have you hit it? I wonder. I see 8,215 people watch this, and not enough of them hit the like button, in my opinion. Also, by the way, I say 8,215 people watched that video, and very, 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 very good stuff. That's awesome. It's awesome. It's cool. That is, of course, 900% more than people that watched my video. So the target for Jimmy to get up here of 600% more than me in terms of comments is not necessarily unachievable, given that there. We're at 253 on this one. Jimmy probably trying his wee cotton socks off. Let's see here to give comments back. No, other people chipping in here. Other people chipping in. Good work. Good work, people. Good work, people. Good work. I'm impressed. Even Wilfric Doomslayer himself helping as well along the way. You have to say facts. Facts. Yes. I have to like Case's comment. Where's Case's comment? I scrolled past it, did I? It's pin comment. Let's see. Of course. No, I did hit like on that, it seems. I hit like on it. Premiere, yep, that's right. Let's just read through this. Oh, all those lovely chapters. Rocky Outcrop 231. What's that all about?
This is going to go to meta.
It's going to go to meta. Am I going to meta?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you so much.
This isn't about Rocky Outcrop. What are you talking about? He maybe edited the text. It's hidden now. It's hidden. It's hidden. You cut out his song and it's hidden. Well, we'll live without the Rocky Outcrop mention. Well, it's a different time. Yes, it's a different time. It's in there somewhere, but I'd have to go looking for it. And my ego is large enough. Okay, it's all right. We're all right. We're all right on that front. Although I do appeal to all of you to continue to try and support my ego. See, the thing is, right, that for me, right, I want to see growth on this channel, and a lot of people out there in the world will get growth in the channel by putting their abundant insecurity and lack of self-esteem onto you as the audience to say, hey, shore me up by going out there and getting all of these other people to actually pay attention. But, you guys identifying me as, of course, the absolute, standalone legend that I am, are thinking to themselves, I don't need to share Rocky's posts on Reddit and get him thousands of views and show other people. Somebody asked me recently,
Please share Rocky's stuff on Reddit.
Hey, somebody asked me recently, which is, of course, brings a chuckle to my lips, and that sharing your content on r/cryptocurrency. Yes, indeed. Have I ever considered promoting myself? Yes, I have considered it, and I thought to myself that would be weird to do that compared to like how I would I could go and promote other people. And that wouldn't be weird. And there's thousands of people that watch me, and are they doing it? No, they're not. And what's going on there? And why would somebody even ask me that question? I have to do written DD. That's right. Anyway, that clip that I made there is actually fairly typical of the content you'll see on the show, as is us sitting here having a good laugh about me in the meta here, and as the prices bounce off of this orange line, which we were oh so casual about up until this point, and at the same time on the right hand side, the AMC prices bounce off that white horizontal line. It is nice to live in the meta and be able to have these satirical conversations with, of course, a massively caring and communicative and lovely audience whom I appreciate.
Translated in different languages. I'll pay $20 for everyone who translates any video in a different language.
Right. For anybody who translates that video that I've made, the one that I've done just there now, today, dub the video that I've made in your language, I'll give you $20. $20 for 13 minutes work with a microphone. Just open it up. Your thing, hit record, send that audio file to me. I'll sort the rest of it out. Just get the timings right if you can. You know, put headphones on, listen, speak when I speak, make it more or less match up for whatever you would know as the foreign language speaker. Do that for me. I'll give you $20. We'll see how it goes, right? Anyone, any language in the world.
Fucking Irish.
Yeah, Irish, Swedish, Chinese, Korean, Spanish. Ideally Spanish. Yeah, I love it. There's tons of Spanish people that watch this stuff that would love to know. Do it. I'll pay you, please. It'd be fantastic. I would love it. I would love it. I would really love it. It would be amazing. And can you imagine how many Spanish people out there would appreciate, you know, that? I imagine all of them, because Spanish people and people who speak other languages are actually right. Brace yourself, white people. Just as intelligent as everybody else. Dare I say it? Nicer people and more intelligent because they also tend to speak English. Anyway, we need them. We need these people. The video that I'm about to that I'll make today, the one that I made a clip of earlier on, it's part of the show. We're coming up here to 55 after the hour, 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? News articles in the air tonight. All right. That's right. We've got the news at the top of the hour coming up. I hope you do take the massive amounts of time and energy that goes into hitting the like button to do that. It is, of course, appreciated, anybody that does that. Dancing around here. I'm dancing with this line, and it is, there's no guarantees here, right? This line doesn't necessarily have to hold, but you can imagine that this is where if I was the commander of this regiment of troops, that I would be standing saying, hold, as they do back in all the old wars that happened. Simon Perry says, does Cockney count? No, unfortunately it doesn't. In fact, it doesn't. It doesn't. Sorry, no, it doesn't. It doesn't count. Doesn't count. As somebody who perhaps speaks Cockney, you might actually also think to yourself, has it ever counted for anything? And it does. It counts massively for loads of things. In fact, Jimmy's saying we'll pay you $40. Actually, yeah, if I could somehow appeal to the greater London masses, that would be awesome. I suppose I'd probably have to maybe cut out some of the pro-Scottish independence, the beard, the hair, and my general sort of honesty about British imperialism. But maybe we can get there one day, starting with you making Cockney versions of my videos. We are number one dumb, says Daniel Assange. I don't know if I agree with that, Daniel.
Have we hit the like button yet? Enough yet? We should have hit the like button a lot by now.
Daniel Assange representing there, trying to say that Americans are dumber than dumbest. I don't know if I agree with that. Because that's a broad generalization, and I'm not sure if I can agree with that. I don't know. I mean, right? Okay, so you've got people. For example, here's a story. There's people in Northern Ireland, right? That are that are descendants from Scottish people. Scottish people that were put there because they were moved out of their homes. They were evicted off their lands because in a process called the clearances. So they were very unhappy. This was, is something that was done by the powers that be at the time. So you're talking lordies, and a lot of them were very pro-Britishiness. Now, what they did with these people, because it's Britain and everything else, is they thought, hey, we could subjugate and change the politics and the culture in Northern Ireland for the long term by taking people from Scotland who are sort of kind of, Protestant, although, we fucked them up big time with that Mary Queen of Scots stuff, and we'll just take them and we'll put them in Northern Ireland, and we'll make a rule that says that if you're Protestant, you get to own all of the land in Northern Ireland that you own, and that we'll also tell it to the Catholics, and we'll say the Catholics, you can't buy any land at all. What you have to do is divide that land equally amongst all of your children. Unless one of your children, and it's a big prizes to the first one that does it, converts to Protestantism, in which case they get all of the family's land.
Even all of your dad's land.
all of your dad's land as well. Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll call this the penal codes and we'll make it the law, right? In Northern Ireland. So the Scottish people going over there, of course, bereft of home and stability and security, latched on to what is, of course, an exploitative sectarian rule to then develop their own culture and say, no, this is my land and this is where I stand and I will not be put off of this piece of land in Northern Ireland as occupied territory as part of the plantations in order to change the culture over here, which then, of course, became a very big entrenched cultural ideal amongst that people, and has led to then, of course, modern day unionism amongst a bunch of people who are very, very, very extremely sectarian, called Ulster Scots. And it's, of course, somewhat culturally debatable whether or not I'm entitled to say that, but having experienced firsthand that sectarianism, I think I've earned enough chips on that front. And what the thing about it is that they have got this hilarious need to be recognised as a culture. Then dare far be it from me to say that they're not a culture, especially one that I can so clearly identify as being born out of course, a mistaken sense of self-identity and hatred, mostly born as well out of small-mindedness. And that culture, which is very strong, vocal in fact, and you can see it marching through the streets at least once a year in Northern Ireland, is wanted to be recognised with road signs, because not only have they got their own culture, they have their own dialect. That's right, it's called Ulster Scots. It's when you speak Irish, Northern Irish, what am I saying? It's when you speak English in a really broad Northern Irish accent that you think in your head, because you're deluded, that is somehow got some sort of sense of Scottishness about it, which objectively and subjectively I can tell you that it categorically does not. And they think that it should be written in its own way, in the way that Scots is. You know, Scots, that thing that does exist, which comes from a beautiful culture, which is a real thing and not sectarian in any way and shouldn't be watered down with your absolute shite. So what these Ulster Scots people did is they went on a long campaign and a hard-fought campaign and a very vocal campaign to get signage of their street names and locations pointed towards their Ulster Scots sectarian neighbourhoods in Ulster Scots. And it took a long time, but they were finally successful in that endeavour. And well done to the Northern Ireland councils that then put their hands in their Ulster Scots, primarily Protestant-led sectarian pockets, and paid for those signs that they put up pointing towards those areas, which of course were then readily identifiable as being those pockets of areas where people with that particular wonderful, unique culture, which should be identified, preserved, and acknowledged, live. And what did they do when that happened? What do you think they did? Did they go out in the streets and celebrate? Did they? Did they go out in the streets and celebrate? Did they write a letter to Points of View on the BBC to say, "Dear Points of View, I am an Ulster Scots man and I finally feel represented. It's good to have my own dialect, which is a real cultural thing with actual significance that should be recognised on the global stage, written up and pointing towards where I live with my culturally homogenous community in a long-standing traditional environment." And but they didn't, right? Strangely enough, these geniuses went out and ripped the signs all down, and then immediately began complaining about how they don't want that horrible, taggy, Fenian, Catholic-y, crappy Gaelic language pointing at their areas, and it's a disgusting affront to their Ulster Scotsness that they had to read Irish as they were driving home from their institutionally racist jobs to their institutionally racist homes and families. I dare say that they're somewhat more stupid than Americans by a long, long, long degree, although there might be one rare breed of American that can actually top that one. If I ever turn up to some sort of crazy rally in America where people are holding up those signs saying something along the lines of "God fucks gay people," then I ask them, "Where are you from?" And one of them says, "I am an American citizen, sir." And I say, "But I notice in that accent of yours there's a slight twang, and it reminds me of a vaguely nebulous, unidentifiable sectarian culture that tries to sort of climb out of a swamp somewhere in Northern Ireland and misrepresent what it is to be Scotland in a sort of disenfranchised need to be entrenched in a sectarian, establishmentarian viewpoint in order to put others down just to raise themselves up. And he says, yes! That is, of course, my Ulster Scots, Northern Ireland heritage, which I am an Ulster Scots, Northern Irish American, and I think God fucks gay people. That is the stupid one. Right, okay, cool. So we've made it through 3:05. That's the first 5 minutes of the news. Glad that I did that. Excellent. So good to get that off my chest as well. Where did you go to, wee Sammy? Right, anyway, moving on, because I got the news to bring up here as well. I did bring up some news. Where was the news at? Yes, House Democrats advance the $3.5 trillion spending package. Ho-ho, it's great. It's like, got around eventually to that point in the political saga that occurs every time that this goes on, where eventually it does actually get approved in the end. Oh, good one. Nice one. One of the most entertaining things, of course, about George, I said George there, Donald Trump's reign as presidency, was he actually managed to break the cycle on this whole spending package thing and whatnot, and actually drag things on for a while past the point. It was really good. Somebody actually called the bluff on that one for the first time, and that was pretty cool. Anyway, back to business as usual, where we just kind of debate about things and then approve it anyway. And we see that Biden's America is so confused, and so is the world, and that's fair enough. Don't worry about it. Like, the reason that if you're in America right now and you're confused about stuff, the reason you're confused about it is because enough time hasn't gone by. Okay, so just wait a while. And you'll be fine. Rightio, that's that section of the news. Kind of flying through the news a little bit quicker here today than I normally would. Of course, we are 3:05, and that is, of course, 10:05 in the US. We'll be flicking back over to the charts to see how the opening range and all these things is gone. Just as we get through a couple of new bits of news over here. Bank North secures license in new wave of regional lenders. Okay, cool. Who gives two shits about that? There's more banking licenses in the UK. From milkshakes to meat, UK businesses battle with shortages. There you go. That was pretty genius. There's this thing called planning. There's this thing called planning, and planning to fail. Planning to fail is what the government does. Failing to plan. Planning to fail is the plan. Planning to fail is the plan. That phrase, right? Brexit bonkers fight over product standards showed old Brexit battles persist. Hey, those old Brexit battles. Wonder when those wounds will heal. Hey, it's time to stop acting like children. Wales advances its plans for small nuclear plants. That's really cool. Wales is going to get just a few small nuclear plants on the go down there in Wales. Good stuff. That'll be good. Just make sure you get a lateral flow test before you go to Snowdonia, though. That's it. It's amazing. It's amazing how a local government can as I try and read that word, the TRAWSFYNYDD project, the Transwenset project. That's that. Sorry, I said that in Swedish. How they can, on the one hand, plan small nuclear plants, and on the other hand, can't plan a few hundred campers on a mountain, which happens to be the second biggest mountain in the United Kingdom. Hey, here we have it. That's the news. What else is there? So that's like the UK news. Tech. I wanted to check the tech news. I'm pretty sure there's a couple other news stories that I actually was meaning to be talking about, but my short-term memory is inaccessible right here, right now, as of course we are doing it live. So, White House summons US Chief Executive for Cybersecurity Summit. Where? I don't know. Did they get the email? I hope they deleted it after. UK targets social media and gaming with new children's code. Well, that's typical from the UK. We're always targeting children. Why gamers relish lying to their friends? I don't know. They never tell me. Why are you lying, man? You have to ask their friends. So, okay, people out there, did we do that as a poll earlier on? We didn't do it earlier on. Why poll? Quick poll for people.
If you were to ask
If you
everyone else.
were to ask everyone else.
If they
if they are
Good looking.
good looking,
Rich and smart.
rich and smart,
Would they tell the truth?
would they tell the truth? Quick poll in there. Wait, let me type on the poll box, YouTube. Would they tell the truth? Excellent. Yes or no? Excellent. That's kind of like a binary problem there, actually, to be honest with you. How are people actually even going to answer that one? I don't know. Let's see. In some ways, well, we'll find out if the audience is a liar after, won't we? Pinocchio. What's that say there? Pinjuju shares jumped 22% after pledge to donate profits. Chinese tech group will give away 1.5 billion following Xi Jinping's calls to address inequality. Boom. Well, there we go. Interesting stuff over there. That's actually pretty remarkable stuff. Big numbers coming out of China. It's amazing that this company is just going to give away $1.5 billion, and there's people at the minute live protesting in the UK to try and address a $250 billion oil field project in the North Sea in Scotland. I mean, that's only, a couple, it's only, a hundred and something times bigger than this, but this is money that they're just giving away because of, and it's profits that they're making. And climate change is a real thing. It's amazing how the world economy is changing, and the debates about how the future, revenue flows for all different countries will work in a slightly different carbon-focused world. Interesting stuff, especially as Wales is building those stupid nuclear power plants. Over here on the Financial Times, I'll click on the news in the markets section. Distressed debts funds sparkle in COVID recovery. We're 10 past the hour, so I suppose we can wrap up the news section. Let's see what else there was. What the Bank of England exit strategy signals for other central banks? Well, how is the Bank of England going to sell its GME shares? Let's find out. Let's see here. The writer is the chief market strategist EMEA at JP Morgan Asset Management. Whoa, insider news here. It's nearly that time of year when the biggest names in the US central banking community gather for Federal Reserve's annual conference in Jackson Hole. That's
Whoa, Jackson Hole!
Yeah, Jackson Hole. All right, you're gonna be at Jackson Hole. It's like the fucking Catalina wine mixer, right? Yeah, Catalina wine mixer. Woo, Jackson Hole. I'm so looking forward to Jackson Hole this year, bro. Yeah, I'm going to destroy Jackson Hole, bro. Yeah. Let's do. Are you going to be at Jackson Hole?
I love Jackson Hole!
Yeah, central banks. Hey, central bank party up in Jackson Hole. Hey, J Pell, bro, how you doing? Fuck the Starbucks, man. Where's your drink? This is the party. It's Jackson Hole. Take your fucking tie off. What's wrong with you? Jesus, Starbucks, is there whiskey? Tell me there's whiskey in that at least. Hey, who you with? Who you with? Who you with? What's that? Who's that behind you? Is that what's that? What's that? She's your daughter? Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. What? She's your daughter. What? Jackson Hole, man. Jackson Hole. Whoa. Yeah. Anyway, this matters not to bondholders. Longer term interest rates have been tail wagging the equity market dog, so to speak, over the course of the year. Right, good one. So they'll just be having a big old party over there at Jackson Hole. 12 minutes past 3. We have the opening day's range for us. We know the question. We've been back down to visiting the lows of 192. What did we say might be the case at the start of the show today? Well, yeah, forewarned is forearmed, my friends, and that's exactly what happened. I told you the prices would be going back down here. Did you hear me? Don't say you didn't, because I know you effing did. Over here, we have the prices operating around about this horizontal line. Kind of, that's the scenario with us. We've done enough on GME today to kind of call it enough, if we want to call it enough, and that's good. But we're actually going to be talking here about the kind of the scenario that we're in now and whether or not we're able to maintain it. If you want me to put a measurement on here, if you at me, that's what I'm going to do for the end of the 15 minutes. Anyway, if you want to put a measuring stick on here, you're going to approve this. Oh, right. You have to come a bit closer. Yeah.
I approve of this message. Hit the like button.
Hey, thanks, Trade Spotting. That's him telling you to hit the like button. He told you now, right? And no one listens to me, so maybe you'll listen to your dad. Right? Okay. Thanks. See you later, Jimmy. Yeah, so you could measure this thing like this if you wanted to. You could also stick it up here. We kind of need to give ourselves that breathing room to say, wow, 382, ping off of that one. We already discussed these sorts of concepts a million times on the show across time. I'm drawing it in wick to wick here because I'm acknowledging the full range of the price action. 122, 120, or 225 is, of course, is like a big number for us and will remain a big number up ahead of us, in the near future. Not to be too perturbed by profit taking happening. Of course, that's going to happen. Don't convince yourself that it's an entirely them v us situation. There are people out there in the world who will trade this thing, and of course, as well, there are other people who are trading it. They're just providing that liquidity both sides of the market because they're not as interested in the MOAS or don't even know about it necessarily. I mean, just look at this video right now. How many people have we got watching? Who knows? Anyway, I'm bringing this open to a wider market. People do want to take a look at other stocks, and it's the last couple of minutes of the show where you'd have an opportunity to do that. For us at the minute, we're just kind of looking at these two right now, and I guess I'll take a look at some of our other darlings at the minute. For example, AHT. This is Bad Mama Jama's PAL, but 1522 highs today so far, but 1550. What have we got here? Not going to tell. Right, 1550. 1550. I mean, I say so many numbers, buddy. Have I said that one recently? I think maybe I might have done that. I don't really know. Banana. God. Wow. Check this video afterwards, and YouTube will have been sat there waiting so eagerly to put in an ad that I'll got the banana ad there. So thanks for watching if you just watched the banana ad. Yeah, so that's doing really well. That's fantastic. Good to see it. Good to see it. How's it going? Here's ones we haven't looked at maybe for a couple of days and whatnot. Neg. Neg. Neg, you shithead. Why did you... Well, what am I saying you shithead for? Wow, you really did well getting up towards 1943. Hey, have I ever mentioned on the show how about I like to look towards, just 90% of that way, call it say 88.6% of the way. I've ever mentioned it? I don't know if I ever have. Anyway, I dare say that we did that. So that's good, and we're looking for this higher low overall. Got a big tasty gap up above us. Got anything jumping out at us? Oh, what did we have here? What did we have here? What did we have here? Oh, that happened straight away anyway. Is it on another time frame? Not quite. Well, always looking for those tests of what we're doing, which is on the vanguard of understanding economics, even at this stage. Bringing up my stream labels things, so I can see that I've not missed out on any particular stuff. There could be donations or anything, by the way. If anybody does want to do a donation so we don't pay the YouTube tax, then the button's in there. I will see it immediately. I will see it at some point, not necessarily immediately. My bell's ringing. Hello? But that's okay. I don't mind, but that's okay. My bell rang, yeah, but that's all fine. Rob Davis saying to me earlier on, by the way, stop with the mutable characteristic stuff. We are all the same. We are children of God and we share the same blood. Let's unite on our common traits instead. Brilliant stuff. That's cool. Excellent. Just don't ask me to unite with people who have common traits of mine, which are merely perceived common traits. Only ask me to unite with the ones which are definitely true and all that. So probably just whatever. I don't know. Anyway, cool. I have to do chores. I don't know. I probably didn't interpret that correctly. Lol. Mad respect for JME at Homer Simpson. Wait, what's going on there? Did I miss something? Homer Simpson is a nice audience member indeed. How long's left in my show? About 13 minutes. Just chill out, yeah. Right, cool. Good looking is a bit subjective, don't you think? Not really. Not when you're me. It's right there in the mirror, mate. Yeah. Right, anyway, whatever. This is Jens Quint. Jens Quint is chatting with Martin Ewan. I would vote, by the way, I'm just taking a minute here to kind of recenter myself. I'm going to spend the last 10 minutes of chat doing anything that we feel is missed and all that. What was that poll, by the way? Why? This is the binary question. You weren't here to hear the results of the poll. If you were to ask everyone else if they are good-looking, rich, and smart, would they tell you the truth? Would they tell the truth? No, says 66% of people. 66% of people think that people would lie if you asked them if they are good-looking, rich, smart. If you asked everyone else if they're good-looking, rich, smart, would they tell the truth? No. Interesting. Doesn't actually say, you know, if they said yes, would they be lying? That wasn't the question. It was just that they would be lying. So there's a.
It means they ugly.
It means the ugly. It means that it means the ugly.
It means it's ugly.
Interesting. Right, cool. Brian Mullen dropping a lol. LOL. Lots of love. Who do you love, Brian? Homer Simpson putting in 3 cats with really funny looking lips. I told Jimmy the old man and got in trouble. He called Jimmy an old man? Oh, jeepers creepers. I've got grey hairs in my beard. How about that? Rocky is very good looking, says Sarah Restino. Excellent. Thank you. Gosh, thank goodness, at least we have one sensible person here. So we can see the current prices of AMC kicking about at 44, 44, 44, 24, all that good stuff. Again, that's just a summary for the day in terms of what we want to see happen. What do we want from here? I mean, what could we want next? Well, we want to be able to actually start trending towards the top side. Have we started trending towards the top side just yet in terms of this 5-minute picture? Not quite, not really. We're in this area consolidating just there. So that's what that is. That's on AMC on that 5-minute time frame. You know, that's where we are just there. So it's good. And Natural Friend, everyone is unique and beautiful in their own ways. Yes, corny, but true. God made each of us a special non-fungible token, so to speak. I totally agree with that, by the way. I totally agree with that.
Anyone who doesn't is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't is an idiot. Yeah, agreed. I can't bull on that poll. It was poorly worded. Yeah, I know it was, Electro Boy. It was Jimmy's words. It was Jimmy's words. He did it
On purpose, get over it!
He says he did it on purpose. Get over it. There you go. This is biblical, says Natural Friend. Jimmy follows up with "You're ugly, Electro Boy." So there you go. News for you. He says he's joking, but it's too late for that, isn't it? It's too late. Can we trust him? I don't know. Dropping down below that line in the 5-minute time frame. Ooh, getting a bit of dipping our toes in here. Suppose, I mean, like, what would be kind of useful for people in a broader term? What would be useful to people beyond all of the fucking shit tons of useful stuff that I put out almost like in a incredibly densely, like a fire hose every 2 seconds to people. Beyond that, though, I suppose if you were looking towards a pivot point in the market, you could maybe look towards 42.81 in terms of this short-term time frame, and you know, where you would then be saying to yourself, "I'll wait and try and get 10% off the price of my doodahs over there." Bollinger Bands. Shall we put the Bollinger Bands on? Well, I mean, undoubtedly there'll be interesting stuff on the Bollinger Bands. Daily Bollinger Bands. Right, cool, excellent. Let's do that. Gives me the opportunity to hide all the drawings, which is always massive relief to me, by the way, that you'd ever know it, from the way that I slap them on there. Right, so where are you at? Where are you hiding at, bullies? There you have them, Bollinger Bands. Now, we've come back and tested this one on the daily time frame, having pushed outside of it. Wow, remarkable. I've never told anybody that amazing secret of trading before. So why am I letting the cat out of the bag now? Gotta wonder. Should continue to keep these secrets to myself, probably. 42.91. Wow, unpredictable target on that one. Let's stick the Bollinger Bands on over here as well. Just see. Whoa, Newegg, you didn't push outside the Bollinger Bands, then come back down, retest them, actually close within them, and then come back down and taste the base, taste the buttery biscuit base line of the thing. Anyway, that's on the 2-hour time frame. On the 24-hour time frame, we've merely made it up towards the neutral line on neg. Right, so what did I want to get? GME, that's right, GameStop. It's in the GameStop shop. Buttery biscuit base. Buttery biscuit base. Everybody in the audience right now is going to love this. Don't even tell them. Well, they're seeing me do it, so that's a bit of an issue. But I'll keep it a secret, though. Yeah. Keep it a secret. Just, you know, everyone out there at home, don't let on. Well,
It would be dodgy,
yeah. They would be dodgy. They would be dodgy. They would be dodgy. I wonder what there is though, because there's definitely some good stuff. I mean, I'd be happy to end on a Lemmy sketch, but it would be like massively off-putting to like half the audience. Coming up towards the end of the show here at 25 after the hour, chatting with Jamie in the background about how I want to end on something funny. If we can get here above, of course, and stay above $200 on GME, then of course everybody's laughing anyway. And over there on AMC, when every time we tickle 46, of course it sends shivers of laughter right from our bumholes up to our mouth holes. But, you know, it'd be cool to have a couple of jokes along the way. The guy's a tool, says Christy, with regards to that buttery biscuit base, gentlemen. By the way, to all of the to the niche yet actually existent Northern Ireland contingent within the audience, I hope that you enjoyed my Ulster Scots history walkthrough there, especially and if you were if you know or are indeed an Ulster Scots person yourself. It's good to be able to talk about these things. HJ says, that's Harriet Jones for all of you who don't know what letters mean. Can you put on that Scottish "You're a wizard, Harry" thing? Oh wait, what's that? "You're a wizard, Harry" thing. Oh, we can totally put that on. I mean, but yeah, let's see. "You're a wizard, Harry" meme. All right, it's good. But why did I write meme at the end of that one? "You're a wizard, Harry" original. Is this it? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not. Right. Let's get this. What? What? This guy's Irish, by the way, Harriet. It's gotta be. Harry! Oh, they're Scottish. Okay, now he's Scottish. Good. He's fucking cunt. You fucking fanny. Pump you silly. Yeah, that guy must have been Scottish, it seems, actually, in the end. At the start, I was kind of thinking, what? This sounds like he's Northern Irish, but he was just a Scottish person trying to sound English. Shut up! God, that guy. So, yeah. Scotland, when you try and tell someone that they're a wizard. Typical. I see it daily out there in the streets. Somebody else said, can you play whatever meme? I don't know. We probably could. That's the end of the show. I mean, that took us right up to it. Can you play retarded horse running? I don't know. Can you play what? Just the credit. Just the credit. I mean, there's Sarah was coming in there with a request, and I would like to, but I feel like there's words in there that might get me in troubles. I don't know, without having seen it myself. I'm sure it's really funny. Oh, the news, by the way. Before we go, yeah, I was going to tell everybody. You know this thing that we all like think about every sort of, I don't know, 6 years or something, and everyone's like, yeah, that dude. What happened to that dude? Is he around? Blah blah blah. He's 30 now. Of course, you know, if you were around and you remember this poster coming out at the time, it's because you were older than the baby at the time. So it's easy to work out what age he is. He's something probably lower than the number that you are if you were around at the time. It's amazing. That's how maths works. Anyway, it turns out that he's suing Nirvana. And, you know, that's, I mean, anyway, we'll talk, no need to say anything about that. Because they're using his face. Anyway, right, there we go. That was news. I forgot to say that news earlier on. Really should have, because it was like the only bit of news I actually genuinely, legitimately had. $210 wrapping up here on the GME, and AMC in there at 46.14. All the other stocks are doing wonderfully today as well. AHT kicking about at 15.38, right there like a complete badass. See if this thing gets above that 15.83 area, then hey, we're actually looking towards 17. I mean, dare I say it, like I want to see us going up there 17 and then tracing this thing up the way, but you know, occasionally touching off the buttery biscuit base, that'd be all right. Then what was the other things that we were talking about as well today? We've had MMAT up in the show. Not a massive amount of requests came in, really. It was just Bad Mama Jama, I think, that actually came in with any. Oh, up there towards the top end of that Bollinger Band as well, 383. It's doing all right. It's evidently doing all right. That's doing all right over there, that thing. That's not too bad. Glad to see it. Of course, as well, what did we have recently? Wow, we talked about things like this recently. AMAT, we can see it's doing all right as well. Still in that mid-30s range. Yeah, it didn't quite push past that 135 area we're talking about as well recently. Other things is their Pluter, that Plantier thing. Just reminding folks that we look at more than just JME and AMC over here. Well, of course, you know, we were the channel that really massively steers you right through the emotional downside. We also predicted everything. We told everybody about 177 when it was up at $300, and we did all this other shit too. We're pretty fucking awesome over here. Anyway, beyond that, we look at other stocks and stuff too. Wide audience and all that stuff too over here. Planter doing what it's doing. Anyway, sure, I only looked it up to have more content. I filled that up with talking about myself. Anyway, as all the pros do. Going back to the big screen and bringing up Los Creditos, that's what they call them in Spain. Been doing that a lot recently, just adding an O onto the end of an English word and saying it. It makes me feel very much satisfido. Then we have the credits. Where are the goddamn credits here? Let me roll the credits and say thanks to everybody for tuning in for today's show, because it has been massively enjoyable. It's been a really funny one. Thanks everybody for watching along. We have Kala Kala out there in the audience, for example, Shakar. We've also got Pallard Dog, Jens Quint, Luke Spears, Mudson, that Jiu-Jitsu guy, Nacho, Gio Maxwell, Dankobar, all the good people that are watching along. Of course, wonderful stuff. Andy as well became a member. I can see that at the end there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Super chats coming in here today from D. Harker, Daniel Assange, Bad Mama Jama, Homer Simpson, Brian Mullen, John G, Wolfric Doomslayer, Katie Babes, Carissa B, Chris Sweeney, The Nacho Friend. Members as well, Homer Simpson and Andy Herdman. Don't forget, folks, this is legitimately the best channel on YouTube for all of that stuff. I might not be around while the markets are necessarily moving, but of course, you know, it's always had the content here anyway. Thanks to everybody that did actually comment in yesterday's video. I was only half joking yesterday when I said that I'll actually hate everybody that didn't comment in it, so be aware of the fact that if you didn't comment there, that actually, you know, the truth is that frankly, just deep down and on the surface level, really through and through, I hate your guts. Sage advice once imparted to me, I will pass on. If your poo is multicolored, Eat more brown crayons, problem solve, says Andy A. That's good piece of knowledge. I'm glad that you passed that on to everybody. Excellent stuff. Thanks so much. Make sure you bear that in mind. I am not a financial advisor, but dietary advice, is that all right? Can I give that out? Luke Spears 6969, thanks so much. You're the best. Catch you later.